Blog Talk Radio.
This broadcast is a Stephen K. Media production.
The success of the small business person is the cornerstone of the American economy. Welcome to the Small Business Today Show with your hosts, Cruz and Hughes. The Small Business Today Show is for and about small business advancement and development. What we do for you. We'll be taking your calls as we provide you small business intelligence and mentorship needed to grow your business creatively. Keep listening. The Small Business Today Show with Cruz and Hughes starts now.
Hello and welcome back to today's episode of Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes right here on Blog Talk Radio, where Irvin and myself come to you live every day at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. We do this show for an hour and we also do it just for you. This is the place where we discuss the topics that inspires entrepreneurs from thought to action. We welcome your calls, your comments, your questions. If you want to join the conversation, feel free to do so. You can give us a call at 347-857-3958. Again, the number here is 347-857-3958. Now, you know what's chapping my hide?
What's chapping your hide, man?
Is today Friday?
Today is Friday.
What's getting to me is that...
Wait. I know you don't have something that's chapping your hide on a Friday.
Oh, yeah, I'm bugged. Bugged.
You are? Well,
yeah,
you know what, John? Today is your lucky day, John.
Okay.
Because today is Friday. And you know what that means?
Soapbox?
Today is Soapbox Friday. So if you got something that you want to get off your chest, stand on your soapbox and do it.
Well, I tell you what, let me pull my soapbox up. And
all right.
We had 200 and some odd listeners one day, almost 300 listeners that were listening live.
Sure.
Not one phone call.
Yeah, well, they don't call.
Not one chat message.
No.
I mean, you're just over there just taking this great information and being quiet about it, you know? Yeah, you know.
You don't want to tell anybody.
So I really believe that you get more out of this show when you call with questions. When you chat with questions, just say that you don't like the shine on Irv's head. I mean, just say something. Let us know you're there. You know, you don't like the raspiness of my voice, but you do appreciate the information. Just say something.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Let us know that you're out there.
I absolutely agree with that totally. And you know what? I mean, let's be honest, John. I mean, we have our critics. I mean, we had somebody who said, you people agree too much.
Yeah, we did have someone who said that.
Yeah,
you know, and,
I mean, but at least, hey, they're listening enough to have an opinion.
Hey, we love to hear from you guys. I mean, this conversation is not only for and about you. Our hope and our desire is that we can include you.
That's right.
So if you would like, we'd love for you to give us a call, 347-857-3958. Again, that number here is 347-857-3958. Or go into the chat room on Blog Talk and just, say hello, howdy do, or something like that. But nonetheless, we're going to keep giving this information to you. We got a great guest in the studio today. And before we go to him, I got to ask, although I hate to do it, but Irv, do you have anything that you want to...
You know what, man?
Share this soapbox with me.
You know, John. You inspired me. I really did not have a soapbox until you inspired me with people who wouldn't call in. All right, and so here is my soapbox for today. You know what it is? Christmas lights.
What is today? What is today? The
man, today is the 4th. But see, I didn't get to do it. You
didn't put up Christmas lights?
No, I put up Christmas lights, but let me tell you what. Putting them suckers back in the box does not work.
Why does it?
Well, it's after Christmas now, right? I had Christmas lights and all this stuff, right? So now you got to take all this stuff down.
Okay.
And I'd like to be able to put it back in the box. And those of you who are packaging Christmas lights, and I know some of you are in that business.
I see what you mean. You're absolutely. You'll never get it in there the way that
you
it looks.
cannot put those things back in there. And I got a real soapbox about that, man. Y'all got to do better about that.
Oh yeah.
I want to keep the box.
No, you got to just take those suckers and wrap them around your
Oh
hand and
my
your elbow.
God.
And
what is going on? I mean, all this technology. We can go to the moon, John.
But we can't put Christmas lights
We
perfectly
cannot
back
put
in the box.
Christmas lights back in the box. Now you got this big one end is bulging, the other end won't close.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's the most frustrating thing on the planet.
I don't. It's you need to have a brain of Einstein.
I'm not smart enough.
Well, our guest today is Mr. Bertrand McHenry, and Bertrand is the president of the Referral Institute of Houston. If you want to connect with Bertrand, you can also go to his business website, which is referralinstituteofhouston.com. And Bertrand, it is Friday.
It is. I have no soapbox.
No soapbox?
I will tell you this.
What?
You know, Irv, you were talking about the Christmas lights.
Yes.
I'm thinking those boxes just should come with a nail in the box because mine end up hanging on a nail in the garage anyway.
Is that what
So you don't even put
I
them
don't
up.
mess with it, yeah.
Well, see, now you know what that said, Bertrand. See, I need to get smarter and leave mine in the box.
Well, I tell you what. You said Christmas lights. Next week on Friday, I'm going to go ahead and tell you now, my pet peeve is going to be the Christmas lights that are still up after
now
2 weeks
see.
in January.
Now, see, come on now. Take them things down.
I mean, at what point do you, when the tree has lost all its needles,
Yeah, that's
do you still want to have that thing? I mean, I walk in and it's more tree on the floor than
Oh,
it is.
yeah.
that's exactly
But,
right.
hey, they're still proud of it. They're still in the spirit.
I don't understand. Take that stuff down.
So, what are we talking about today? We've gone through the list of things that Bertrand had given us.
Sure.
And we still got some ground to cover here.
Absolutely.
But I think we kind of left off. Did we leave off with something that we wanted to open up with
we
today?
did leave off with one of those things, and I'm trying to remember now, Bertrand, because you had such compelling information, and you always do. It's one of the reasons why we love having you on this show, man. Is I really thank you so much for coming on our show.
Thanks for letting me come.
And
It's a blast.
lending your credibility. Some of you guys may not know, but Bertrand is actually, we've been talking about what he's doing at Referral Institute, but Bertrand is also a contributing author to the only business book you'll ever need.
Mhm.
And let me tell you what, if you hadn't gotten the book, folks, go out, do yourself a favor, go to the bookstore. I guess it's available everywhere.
You can find
now.
it on Amazon, right? Yep.
And get this book. Bertrand and his cast of characters all have made significant contributions to this particular book, and it's written by experts. And so, Bertrand, I'm honored to have you here on the show.
Thank you.
No matter what John says about it.
I know, right?
Well, and what I was about to say about him is I was going to reintroduce him a little bit. Bertrand has more than 22 years experience in outside sales, and his sales philosophies have been quoted on sites such as Yahoo Finance, Miami Herald, Morningstar, CSNBC, CBS Money Watch. So, this is
Sure.
This is the guy that you want to listen to when it comes to talking about small business. And what we've been talking about for the last 3 days, and Bertrand, we do appreciate you being here in the studio with us for all three, is getting yourself hot, warm, and ready to just launch big in 2013.
Absolutely. And you know what? And what I'm hoping that we're going to touch on, because we kind of set this up yesterday, talking about sales and talking about your sales experience and really helping people get their hands around, how to put together a strategy and go out there and sell something.
Mhm.
And by the way, folks, if you're in business, you're in sales. All right? I better not find one of you folks in the chat room or calling or emailing John or myself or any of our folks here at Small Business Today Radio, and you tell us that you're in business, but you don't sell anything. You're selling a product or a service, right?
And if you are in business and you don't sell anything, I want to hear about it.
That's exactly right. Because you're doing something terribly wrong. I'm going to tell you right now, it's wrong. It's wrong what you're doing. It's un-American. So anyway, but anyway, we're going to, we kind of set this up talking about sales.
Yeah, and we left off yesterday with, I think, brainstorming less and taking more action.
Sure.
And can we kind of table sales for the next?
I hate to have Bertrand in here and we let him out without him talking about
Well,
sales.
I definitely want him to talk about it.
Okay.
But there was a couple things that he had on here. one was designed with systems in mind.
Mhm.
Yep.
And I really want to talk about systems because as small business people, systems are what pay us. And companies that have the best systems are the ones that we're familiar with. I mean, we've heard of the Ford Motor Company
Right.
that basically
Sure.
revolutionized
No doubt.
the assembly system.
No doubt.
And so when you say design with systems in mind, are you talking about when you form your company, being systematic in the people that you choose, or sort of elaborate on that? if you
Okay,
will?
yeah. What I'm talking about is when I say design with systems in mind, when you start your business and you as the business owner go out and start selling,
Right.
make sure to start to create that manual right away. Create the sales manual. Create the scripts right away, because what's going to happen is in a year, 2 years, when you hire people and you become really successful as a solo entrepreneur,
Sure.
you go to hire people, you're going to throw them to the wolves, and then you're going to be frustrated in 6 weeks, and you're going to start burning through people and firing them because you're so irritated because, quote unquote, I can do it. Why can't anyone else do it?
Yeah.
But they need systems. They need scripts to follow in your business that you've trained them on.
Sure.
And so that's what I mean by systems.
Okay.
Admin systems, sales systems, customer service systems, things that people can latch onto, because it's not about, you can certainly do it.
Sure.
And you would think most everyone else can do it, but you're going to have people come along who are the slowest boat in the fleet that need a script, that
Right.
need a system to latch
Right.
onto.
Right.
You know, McDonald's is famous for it. You know, you're talking about famous companies with big systems.
Right.
McDonald's owner's manual says, get in the store 5:01 at 5 o'clock in the morning. 5:01, unlock the doors. 5:03, turn on the computers.
That's detailed.
That's detailed.
Wow. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about systems. And one of the things I do want to ask you are about these scripts, because I have a philosophy on scripts, and I want to see if it matches or squares up with what you believe.
Or at least straighten us out.
Right.
Yeah, or at least straighten us out. You know, that's happened before on this show.
That's exactly right. Let me get straightened out.
Guys, you're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes, which is brought to you by Small Business Today magazine. It is the magazine that is for and about Houston's entrepreneurs. It features stories, articles on business strategy that can help you in your business real time today. To get your free copy of the magazine, all you have to do is log on to smallbusinesstodaymagazine.com, put your information in, and we'll send you a copy right to your email inbox each and every month. Stay with us. We'll return in just a moment with Bertrand McHenry.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
or even worse,
We've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
so how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cooney is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancooney.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at,
Excuse me, heavy news?
you know, disasters, politics, stock market,
And this alternative is...
coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for Coffee News. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's Coffee News.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? My answer is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at Plantronics.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today. Visit us on the web at cruiseandhughes.com. Here are your hosts, Cruz and Hughes.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Our guest today is Mr. Bertrand McHenry. We're talking about getting your business launched and prepared to have an explosive 2013. And right now, the topic that we're covering is designing your business with systems in mind. One of the things you brought out in the last segment was putting together scripts. Now, and I'm talking about scripts just from the standpoint of a sales organization. Now, for myself, I find that scripts are great tools. But what do you do when you find someone that's selling completely and totally and entirely off of a script? Because if you're a salesperson, we've all put scripts together for our sales team or a script together that sort of helps us. But what do you do when you find someone that's reading that script word for word? You know, I mean, give me some insight on that.
Okay, reading word for word or selling out of the script?
Selling out of the script and managing the sales call the way that it is on a script.
Okay, so you're either coloring outside the lines and not using the script the way you initially wanted them to, or they're reading verbatim. And so then you have to, as a manager, you got to pull that person. You got to look at their numbers first. Look at their numbers, because I've had salespeople who read from the script and sounded stilted, but because they were so genuine and they tended to be able to bond with the client over the phone and then in person, their sales numbers were fine. And so I had no problem with it in the end. So it's not at first glance. You got to look at their numbers. How do their numbers match up with what they're doing and what they're sounding like?
Okay.
And then if their numbers don't match up, because that's usually the case, then you got to have another conversation, because the person may not be cut out for sales. Or they just may need 3 or 4 months to get used to doing it. Because doing it over and over and over, well, I mean, listen, if you make 50 to 100 calls a day on the phone for 3 months, you're probably going to get pretty good at it. You're probably going to get so good that you can start to color outside the lines a little bit, feel a little bit more comfortable. I mean, we've said it before. In fact, we talked about it. Patty and I were at that function at a Chamber of Commerce recently, and the mayor of the city came and spoke and read from 5 pages of notes. Remember I was telling you about that? And,
painful.
Very painful. And I'm thinking, how does a public person not have the ability to speak off the cuff anymore in this day and age?
Thank you.
Because I think you should be able to. We've had enough scripts in our life. We can speak extemporaneously. How about that word?
Whoa.
That's EX.
You had that one loaded since yesterday.
Wait a minute. That's EX.
Temporaneously, I think it is.
EX temporaneously.
Speak off the cuff.
Yep. but now, wait a minute, John. So what was your take on it? Because you asked for Bertrand's take, but you didn't say what your take was.
My take is this. I create a script. I sit through with my sales associate for the first few phone calls and watch them crash and burn because they're using and managing their call based on a script. I'm going to tell you something. I played football in high school.
Sure.
And we would practice all week in preparation for our next opponent.
Right.
And once that ball was kicked off, everything that we did in practice didn't happen.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Practice is the dress rehearsal, but the war is what happened on Friday night.
Exactly. Sure.
So a sales call is the same way. I want you to have the script in your head. I want you to use it a couple times to just sort of get the rhythm of what you should be bringing out. Then from there, I remove the script. And let's just take the mortgage business, for instance, because that's the space that I operated in. There's a few things that have to be discussed on every business call. Every business call, we got to cover credit, income, savings, time frame, sale price. those are things that have to be covered in every call. So instead of giving you a script, I would give you a list of points for you to take notes and do a check mark. So as a salesperson, I hate scripts because you try to go through, you try to manage a call. You know, if we're talking about savings and the guy jumps down and starts talking about time frame and he takes you 3 or 4 paragraphs down in your script, I could see where you become a little discombobulated.
Right.
And now you're trying to get the call back on track. Well, the call's on track already.
Right.
So the thing is that you just have to manage the call in such a way that you understand what points need to be discussed in every sales call. And I don't like having all these extra words, verbs, prepositional phrases, and all of that. They're to slow the process down,
right.
to take the naturalness out of the sales call.
I agree with that.
And so I'm against scripts. We use a script once or twice. I let you hear me do it once or twice, and then we tear the script up, and I give you a list of points that have to be covered so that you're able to just, in just casual conversation, cover all these things.
Would you do that with brand new salespeople?
Absolutely.
No experience?
No experience.
Okay.
No experience. And if you had experience, no script at all, I just give you the bullet points. You should know how to massage and keep a phone conversation going.
Right.
So that script, I think, is just it's I don't even want to call it a foundation. It's basically the formation for the foundation.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of getting them used to having a conversation.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for a brand new salesperson, that's what a script does. It gives you, something to refer to. But once you've done it once or twice or 3 or 4 times, tear the script up because now you have something to refer to. You got experience now. So now let's get better in some of these other points. Let me listen to your call. And then I can help manage and make you a better salesperson if you're looking at just a list of 8 points that have to be covered through the course of the conversation.
Right.
And you don't have all this other stuff that you're trying to read and decipher, and when the guy's telling you something important, you're busy reading from a script.
Right.
I'm against it. And all the sales organizations that I personally consult, I tell them as soon as I look at these scripts, and I mean I've seen some elaborate script. I mean, I'd rather read the preamble.
Oh yeah.
And then try to wow. So I'm against that. Get away from it.
But is that what you're saying though? When you say script, is that what you mean? What you're saying?
As it relates to sales, I'm not talking about in the other areas. Of
and
business.
I don't disagree with him. I might not agree 100% on the time frame, but I totally don't disagree with taking the script away because at some point, absolutely. And I love the idea of the bullets because that actually, when you're speaking not off the cuff, but from when you own the material,
when you own it,
when you own it and internalize it, then you can speak all day long on it.
Sure.
And you don't think that a script becomes a walking cane?
Yeah, I do. I actually would let them go for a full day and make 50 or so calls.
Okay.
So they've got that experience. They bloodied their nose enough. I'm a big believer in learning by bloody nose.
Okay.
Going out and making mistakes, feeling uncomfortable. That does not work for me. That phrase is not good for me. And then take it away and bring the bullet points in and watch them breathe a sigh of relief because now they know where you want them to go as far as the script goes. Now they got the bullet points. They can be creative.
Yeah,
sure.
Well, and in addition to scripts, in addition to bullet points, the other page that I would give them is the objections.
Oh yeah.
And so now that I would leave in written form, and that's what I want you to internalize more than the script. The script to me is useless, but overcoming the objection is something that you have to master. If someone says, well, the rate's too high, well, what do I say? Well, first of all, rates are predicated based on income and credit. And if your income has not been stable or if your credit's not good, basically, and this is what would be on my sheet, your deal was structured before you ever made this phone call. I'm just happen to be the waiter that brings it out to you. All rates are based on income and credit. So what I'm giving you is predicated on what you've given me. If you give me low credit and unstable income, then this is the rate that comes along with that scenario.
Right.
So I want you to be very well versed in not being able to overcome the objection.
I totally agree with that.
Not reading through the script.
Right. But at some point in that script, I want them to know, how do you drive that conversation and expose pain points and to get them to kind of sit on those pain points and massage them a little bit so that they feel because listen, I mean, sales is not, you don't artificially throw a service on somebody or a product on somebody that they don't need.
True.
You are selling is a service. You might not know that you need this, and you may even try to squirm out of it because there's a natural aversion to purchasing. But I'm going to, as your consultant, I'm going to make you aware of what hurts you the most in your business.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a minute, let you feel that, and get you to say some things to me about that, because when it comes time for objections, I'm going to bring all that back up, because I need you to grow your business. And the way we're going to grow your business is through this. It's the right solution for you, right? So those things need to be in the script as well.
You know, Irvin, with him saying that, I think there is something that does need to be said. This sort of has to be tailored based on what you're selling.
Absolutely.
If you're selling funeral plots,
yeah,
those pain points, and I mean that sale is going to be a little different than if you're in a sales capacity where you're responding to customers who are calling in to buy already. So I think that's a great point. So you have to tailor your system based on what it is that you're selling and who your prospect is.
And a little, there's certain things. If you are a financial advisor or a business coach and you ask somebody, where do you want to be next year revenue-wise? And they say, I want to earn $1 million. Okay. What'd you earn this last year? I earned $50,000. Well, then there's in the script, you need to say, there needs to be a long moment of silence where you just look at them and just.
Really? 50,000 to $1 million.
In 12 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess it could happen. You play the lottery?
But I mean, those kind of things, good salespeople at the beginning need to have things like that built into the script, because that's going to be a common answer. Yeah. That's going to be a common answer with a certain amount of people. You need to be able to say that and pull it off.
Sure. Yeah. And one of the things, just in talking about sales and talking about assisting other people in being successful in sales, one of the things that's a big deal is helping new salespeople and new business people understand what questions to ask. Because questions literally allow the salesperson to keep control of the conversation.
Oh, yeah.
And boy, I'll tell you what, you better get adept at understanding what questions to ask, because a lot of salespeople really get hung up in disseminating information. I call them page turners.
Yeah.
They're just, it's a girl I went to school with, page turner. But the point is that they're just downloading all this information, and without asking the questions, number one, you can lose control of the sales encounter, and number two, what's worse is you can be giving people information that's really not meaningful or relevant to what it is that's important to them. So you got to be careful there, I think.
Right. Well, and I think you're absolutely right, and that's one of the reasons too that I would go with the points, because those points would drive you to ask those questions. But when we come back, you're going to pick on whose side you're on. All right. You're the judge. And
I'll be the lightning rod here when we come back, folks. You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by the Lexington Law Firm. When you need credit help, get a free consultation today by calling 888-744-7081. Stay with us. The fist fight continues right after this.
Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cooney is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancooney.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now,
excuse me, heavy news?
You know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is
coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? My answer is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at Plantronics.com.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
Or even worse,
we've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
So how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz.
You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We're wherever you are.
Okay, welcome back to the show. I have Bertrand McHenry here in the studio with me. To my left, he is the president of the Referral Institute of Houston.com, an excellent salesperson. He's written a book called The Only Business Book You'll Ever Need. It's definitely our dubious pleasure to have Bertrand here in the studio talking about small business with Irvin and myself. Now, we've been covering sales for the last few minutes.
Sure.
And I've been, jousting with our friend here on sales scripts. Now, you've run a sales organization yourself.
Course. Yeah.
And you've been sitting mighty quiet over there.
I'm just listening.
You got a microphone. So
yeah, well,
tell us, how did you do things in your operation?
I think both of you are wrong.
Ooh, that hurt.
No.
But I'm okay with that because I didn't lose.
No, seriously, no. My estimation of sales is you've got to really incorporate kind of all of that. I think you do with brand new salespeople. You do need to give them a script. I don't think you need to give it to them very long. I also know that you better give them some talking points because they need to know where they're going in the conversation, no matter where the prospect is taking the conversation. And when I say talking points, it's, for example, when I train my salespeople, I was in the financial services business and being commercial banking, so it was a little bit different than perhaps
being a broker.
A broker. But it was important for us to make sure that, like, for example, when I train my salespeople, I don't allow them to give any information about product, price, features, benefits, or any of that.
Really?
Oh, no. They have to be able to literally talk and engage a customer or prospect for 15 to 30 minutes without bringing up the product, the price, or any of that. Because I don't want them in this product download kind of mode. And so our sales approach was always very consultative. And you can't, in my estimation, do a good job of closing the sale without enough information to close it. And so what I found is a lot of salespeople would get into, let me tell you about the features of this product. Let me tell you about these benefits. Let me tell you why we're the better price.
I definitely agree with that.
And here's the problem. The problem is you hadn't gotten enough information to even get to the close.
Absolutely. You don't know if you're talking to a qualified buyer or not.
No, exactly right. Yeah. Or even if you should continue this conversation because where you're headed is actually going to lead that person into a place where they're going to be angry with you because you burned up all this time when you could have just asked. And so I watch a lot of car salespeople go through
oh,
this.
My goodness.
And it's like one of the most painful processes because they immediately start downloading all this information on you and they never ask, what were you looking for?
Right.
And you know what? And that is a great point, and I think it brings us right back to what Bertrand was saying about, when he made his comment that preempted me to say, it does depend on what you're selling and who you're selling to.
Sure.
I could almost understand why car salesmen do it that way, because think about in this town, in 2000, there were 32 Ford dealerships.
Just Ford.
Just Ford. I'm not talking about Chevy, Acura, Mercedes, Lexus. There were 32 Ford dealerships.
Sure.
Right. So, and I had a friend of mine who was a salesperson who, he and I talked about the pushiness of car salespeople. And he said, well, John, you got to understand something, man. There are 32 Ford dealerships. And when a guy leaves my car lot, he's not coming back.
That's right.
No. He ain't coming back.
That's right.
So I have to, get it all in. But man, you think about it, on the other side of the table, it's such a painful buying experience.
It absolutely is, to the point that, look at the internet sales in the car business.
Right.
One of the reasons why internet sales grew so quickly and why the auto industry really embraced it was because the consumers really liked the idea of being able to shop without this guy in their ear.
True.
Or
running back and forth to the sales tower.
Playing
that game.
Yeah.
Playing that whole game. Well, let me see what my boss says.
Yeah.
What?
Tell your boss to come in here.
Yeah, why don't you tell him to come over here? And so I just say, I'm just saying that, with that said, taking into consideration that control, there's a balance in the sales encounter, right, between power and control. And one of the things I always taught my salespeople is that you need to remember not to cross that line. There is a hard line between power and control when you're in a sales encounter. And one of those things is make sure you don't cross the line and get into your client's power. They need to have the power all the time to shut down this conversation and end it. You have control. They have power, you have control. And that when you can keep that, and what I mean by that is a lot of times you would one of the things that's irritating is when somebody's taking over the power of the conversation and they start telling you what you want. Okay, see now,
or what you need.
Yeah. No, how about asking?
Yeah.
Right? And the question keeps the salesperson in control, but the customer, the prospect, keeps the power to answer those questions.
Certainly.
And so now there's a nice balance going on. It never gets adversarial.
You got a good tennis match.
Now you've got a good back and forth going on. And you know what? By the time you're done, man, you got enough information to say, you know what? The best thing I can tell you is to go see the Mercedes dealership.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because we make a great car here at Cadillac, but for the features and functions that you want a Mercedes.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And you know what? That guy might go to the Mercedes dealership, and because he's not handled quite right, you may get that guy back.
Well, I'm gonna tell you that absolutely happened to me. I don't know how we're getting on this conversation, but I gotta say this.
Sure.
I disliked Mercedes Benz, and I went to buy. Me and my business partner went to buy two 745 ILs when they just changed the body style.
Yeah, I remember.
And we both went in there together to buy the car, and before they asked us any information on whether or not we were capable of even buying, they told us that they were not going to negotiate the price. I said, what kind of price can you give us if we both buy two cars and drive them out today? What under sticker? And had they just at least cajoled me through the process and made me feel important, I probably would have paid above sticker.
Of course.
But the fact that you told me, oh, no, and this was the exact words of the salesperson, and it was a lady. She said, well, I tell you what, I just sold two of these cars last week to, a couple Texans football players. I just, and I tell you, when guys get to this level, when you're buying a product like this, you don't negotiate price, guys.
Wow.
That's not true.
He and I looked at each other. And I told him, I said, hey, you know what? This is over.
It's over. It's over right now.
I did not even like Mercedes-Benz, but I ended up buying one.
Yeah.
I went and test drove one.
Sure.
Loved the way that the salesman handled me.
Sure.
I maintained the control that you're talking about.
Exactly.
And all he did was answer questions. He made himself available.
Exactly.
He helped me through the buying process.
Exactly.
Told me the differences between the product that I wanted and this one. They are not the same thing.
And you didn't feel intimidated. You didn't feel pressured.
And I didn't feel belittled.
Exactly.
Right, and people don't like to be sold, but they do like to buy.
They do.
They do like to purchase.
If you let them.
Absolutely.
If you, as the salesperson, let them buy.
Correct.
Or at least make a recommendation. I can't tell you the amount of business I have gotten from people that I didn't do business with.
Yeah.
But because I handled them well, and because I helped them get to where they wanted to go, even if it meant that I needed to step back from the opportunity.
Yeah.
The referrals that come from that is phenomenal.
Yes, absolutely.
Because they were handled properly.
And and I think that's probably the last frontier of the car industry that's going to catch on to this new wave of doing business via real relationship where you, in your consultative, you're asking questions, you're finding out, because there's nothing scary. The reason why that happens is because this is a hyper-competitive marketplace. People are desperate.
Yeah.
They're afraid if I don't get you now, I won't ever get you.
It's a feeding frenzy.
It is.
Yeah.
Always, ABCs of selling. Always be
selling.
Closing.
Always be closing.
Yeah.
Selling.
Yeah. Consulting.
So, but you got three different frames of thought here that I think could be appropriated to whatever you're selling or whatever your product is. And I think the thing is that depending on what you're selling, depending on if your client actually wants and needs your product, because I think that does make a difference. I mean, we all need life insurance, but who wants it?
Right. Exactly.
I don't want to pay for it, but I know that I need it.
That's exactly right.
I guess the selling process would be modeled behind what you're selling and who you're selling to. Would you agree?
I would absolutely agree. Not only who you're selling to, their business, their company, and their behavioral style. What kind of personality, what kind of behavior, what's their makeup?
Boy, you're opening a can of worms there. How do we tell that?
Yeah, that's a long conversation. But I mean, there are people who love to have people speak to them directly. Go-getters don't mind another go-getter saying, don't pick up the catalog just yet. I want to tell you about something.
Right.
Oh, okay, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I'm a go-getter. I understand that language. Then there's other people who are softer touch that offends them because you act a little bit harder with them.
Right.
And then there's people who need lots and lots of information, and you just kind of move them along at their pace.
Sure.
Now, you know what I find, though, Bertrand? And we're going to have to take a break and we have to come back and finish this, because I do have a question that I want to ask about these individuals who run these companies, these small businesses, and they don't have the sales skills. I want to know what Bertrand thinks about what they should be doing. But I found that when a person told me what they did for a living, I almost was able to figure out the type of personality they had. If it was an engineer, it was that person that needed all the information. So I knew that when I came in to take a loan application, I didn't even bring an application in. I just came in with a piece of paper and a pen, and we would just talk. So I think there is some merit to that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Well, when we come back, more about how do you go about selling your prospects. Well, guess what? You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by RingCentral.com. Folks, to get RingCentral's virtual PBX for your business, you can call them today at 888-716-5022. Stay with us. We'll be right back right after this.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
Or even worse,
we've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
So how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some, not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cooney is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancooney.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at...
Excuse me, heavy news?
You know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is...
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? And my answer is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at Plantronics.com.
All right, welcome back to the show. We're talking about sales, sales systems. We've covered a lot of ground here in the past couple segments. Now, we went to break. We were talking about entrepreneurs who are entrepreneurs but maybe have not underwent any formal sales training.
Right.
And Irv, like you say, I mean, if you're in business, you're in sales.
You're absolutely in sales. And you know what? I mean, the bottom line is without formal training, you can wind up dealing with some of the vicissitudes that can come up in business without formal training, without the benefit that formal training would bring you.
Wow. Now, did that start with an F or
that
P?
Just startled me. I don't know what it started with.
I know it got my attention. I will say that.
I'm thinking he's on dictionary.com or something.
Well, I tell you what now, for someone who has not had formal training, what route do you advise them on if a person comes to you? And I know that sometimes becoming better at sales has to be part of the reason that some people come in and they take classes at the Referral Institute. And because even getting someone to become a person who would refer you business, there's a level of salesmanship that happens in that. Would you agree?
No question about it. Absolutely. We've got sales training modules, but I would move someone to seek some sales coaching or some sales training for sure. Something, you know, our core competencies at Referral Institute are get the right referral marketing education, immersion and accountability, because I can't change your business or your life or transform it. I don't have a shot at it unless I see you on a regular basis and we're talking on a regularly scheduled basis and I'm holding you accountable to the new activities. And the third one is getting your network trained. So same thing with sales. You won't change those habits. If you haven't had sales training before, it's usually a little uncomfortable for most people. You've got to have some kind of formal training where somebody holds you accountable and said, "What'd you do this week?" and reminds you, "Hey, if you weren't in front of a prospect today, you were not in business."
That's right.
Setting up your Facebook page and putting out some tweets is not the same thing as being in business.
That is not selling.
Right?
You know, I'm telling you, man, you're striking all kinds of nerves. I mean, as a salesperson, I realize that my most important asset as a salesman, when I wasn't selling well, and I analyzed why, and I took a sales training course, was my time and how I managed it. And one of the things that I had to figure out were what were the tasks that I did on a daily basis that created revenue, and what were the things that were administrative. And so my mentor encouraged me to do those administrative things during non-business hours. Don't inundate your day setting up your Rolodex, putting files together, collecting data from clients that you've already you've already sold, so to speak.
Right.
You know, do the things during the business day that create or generate revenue.
Mm-hmm.
You know, make sales calls, make cold calls. You know, do things like that. You know, send out your business card to prospects and that sort of thing.
And in the beginning, I think for most people, they need an outside set of eyes or ears to come along and say, "You're fooling yourself. You're not doing business. You're doing busy work."
And when you say uncomfortable, it was uncomfortable for me to hear this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I'm thinking, man, you know, I almost wanted to defend my actions, but the only way he would allow me to defend my actions was looking at my revenue for the month.
Well, you and John, you know, you really are bringing up something that Bertrand's been talking about, and that is knowing your numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, ultimately, let's be honest, we all run businesses by the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we'd like to think that the most successful people in business run businesses by the seat of their pants, but that's just simply not true.
Not the ones that end up growing businesses.
Exactly,
right.
Exactly. Sure. And knowing your numbers, that's really how you can either defend your position, or say, you know what, something is askew here, and now I've got to fix this.
Well, and as you brought that up, it took me back to my own lesson and having to restructure and reconfigure my day so as to each day when I got to the office, my day had already been pre-planned the day before.
Sure.
Exactly
Number
right.
one. And the things that were on my schedule to take care of from 9 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon were those things that can generate new business.
Right. And you said it last week, I think you said we'd fish during the day and we cut bait at night.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Even though cutting bait feels like you're getting ready to do something important, it's not the same as prospecting.
It ain't the same as fishing.
Yeah, exactly right. That's exactly right.
Well, now, one of the things that you have on here is admin and sales. I know that we've talked about sales. Now, what's the admin portion that you were referring to?
You know, admin is as entrepreneurs, as single owner businesses, as soon as you can, hire an administrative person. As soon as possible.
Get out of that business.
Get out of the office. Get out from behind the desk. Get out from behind the computer. Get out there where you need. You're the visionary.
Yeah.
Sure.
You're the one that needs to be out there driving the business forward. Your admin person can be doing all the stuff that bothers you that you can't do that well.
Right.
Creating brochures and Eventbrite invitations and Facebook stuff. Let them handle that.
Busy work.
The busy work. There's somebody who loves doing that.
Yeah, that's true.
And since you're the visionary, you are the face of your company. You're really the only one for a long period of time until you hire someone who falls in love with what you're talking about. You're the only one who has that love and that passion for your message.
Sure.
No one else does. You need to be out there in the marketplace putting that out there.
Sure. You know, there are 3 kinds of people in every company. And I call them finders, minders, and grinders.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Most entrepreneurs, I believe, are finders.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, you want to have pain, get a finder in a grinder position.
Oh,
that's the truth.
Man.
Isn't that the truth?
And I've been in that position. You talk about grinding.
Oh,
right.
Man. And it's so funny because when you can tell when an entrepreneur is in that spot because they get angry.
Oh, all the time.
They're just angry all the time.
They make a lot of noise. Speaking of grinding.
That's exactly right, man. I mean, they just screech out loud, man. And it's tough to watch.
Well, right. I think we understand what the finders and the minders are. Now, what's the finder and the grinder? What is the minder?
Well, the minder is the guy who is what I would consider the overseer. He's got oversight of a lot of things going on in the company. He's a minder, or she's a minder, somebody who is making sure that everybody else is doing the grinding.
Wow.
Right? So, and you know, you don't have to have a whole lot of minders if you're a owner of a small business, but boy, you better have a couple of them.
Right.
And you need to have at least 3. I think you need to have a minder who's overseeing administrative things like you're talking about. I think you need to have a minder who's overseeing finance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you need to have a minder who is overseeing operations, whatever that operation is.
Wow.
You better have 3 of them.
Right.
And those are minders, and then those people kind of oversee the grinders who are actually getting stuff done.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like that.
I do too.
I think I may write an article on that.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Is it okay if I
it's
do
all
that?
right. You can write it.
All right. Because you said, and once you tell a story twice,
it's yours.
It's yours.
Well,
yeah.
Well,
wow.
I like this, man. I mean, this is the good
goodness
information.
gracious.
That is great information.
I can just, I don't know if you guys are watching us right now on Cruise and Hughes and watching this on Ustream. You can see the bus tire tracks right about here where John's just rolled me under the bus, literally, and stolen an article from me that's going to appear in the magazine here in the near future.
Well, you know what? I must say that I am a finder because when I find great information, I mean,
absolutely.
And that's one of those nuggets. I like that. So when we come back, I guess we'll delve a little further into strategy.
Yeah, let's talk about that. We need, you know what? We'll be in the home stretch when we come back, so you're going to have to be right on point, okay?
Perfect.
All right, folks, you're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes, brought to you by GrowSocial.com. You can maximize social media like Facebook and Twitter for your business. You can call Grow Social today at 877-484-3961. Stay with us. We're in the home stretch. We'll be right back.
Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cooney is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancooney.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at...
Excuse me, heavy news?
You know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is...
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? My answer is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at Plantronics.com.
Turn up the sales on your website today with AnythingInternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power. Why people go away. Will help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with AnythingInternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
Or even worse,
we've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
So how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz.
You're listening to Small Business Today. Visit us on the web at cruzandhughes.com. Here are your hosts, Cruz and Hughes.
Okay, welcome back to the show. When we left for the last segment, the only thing we have not covered in these 3 days is strategy, and I know this is something that you just cannot cover in a minute and a half.
That's true.
But I do, as we go into the weekend, Bertrand, want to kind of get your philosophy on strategy and how it applies to small business.
You know, I think strategy's critical. I think you got to have culture to go along with strategy. I think they go hand in hand. They both will fail without the other one. But the analogy I like to talk about as far as strategy goes is we've all been indoctrinated in the idea of setting goals over and over. It's the successful people set goals. They write them down, they measure them, they put a date on them. They're specific as possible. And they've done studies at Yale where they watched graduates wrote their goals down. They came back 20 years later. The top 2% were the ones that kept goals, and the ones that were broke hadn't done any kind of goal setting.
Right.
But I have found in my 20 years experience that there's another step, and that is if you don't put the map out there, you don't stand as good a chance of hitting those goals as you do if you've got an actual roadmap on how to get there.
Gotcha.
Because you can set the goal, and that's all good. I mean, that's kind of this universalist idea of thinking if I put the goal out there and think about it often enough, it will reveal itself. But if you don't have a roadmap on what are your measurements? What's going to happen in the first month? What do I do in the second month or in the first quarter, in the second quarter? My goal for 2013 by December 31st is this. Okay, let's back that up and see what we've got to do. What activities do we have to engage in at the beginning of the year every week and reduce it to a weekly strategy? Where people fail the most, and you guys know this being in sales, salespeople fail because they're in September and they're thinking nothing came in September. No, that's not what happened. You didn't prospect enough in June.
That's right.
That's what's going on in September.
In June.
Yeah, there's always a lag time.
We're going to have to leave it right there, Bertrand. I really appreciate you coming to do the show.
Thank you, man.
We're going to have you come back and get with us one more time. Irv?
Yes, sir.
It's been a great week.
Great week, man. 2013.
Our Texans are in the playoffs, so we're going to say go Texans, and we're going to leave you with this. Until we meet again, be smart, be successful, and above all else,
be in action.
And Irv and I will see you next week.
Go Texans.
Care.